The way he fights. Like the legend of the Thracian king of old. Spartacus, he was called.
I still remember the first trailer for Spartacus Blood and Sand. I was 14. It was John Hannah's voice. It was, what would you do to hold your wife again?
Beast born of the heart. What would you do to hold your wife again? To feel the warmth of her skin, to taste her...
That entire scene, just in the second episode. And I remember watching the trailer, and I remember being completely, fully invested in whatever this show was. I had no idea about the Sevilla War. I didn't know anything about Spartacus or or anything surrounding this show at all. I had no knowledge of this time period, swords and sandals, none of it. 15 years later, and that line still gives me chills. And I remember watching the first episode with my dad, and now he didn't know what it was. He was on the phone. You get the first moment with Andy Whitfield, and Glaber's talking, and he says, "Align yourself with Rome." And Andy Whitfield says, "To what end?" And immediately...
To what end? To what end?
Immediately, I was in. Andy Whitfield brought a vulnerability that I honestly don't believe anyone else could touch. When you look at who else auditioned for this role, he is the perfect casting. He wasn't just a gladiator. He was a husband in pain. The loss of Sura and then Varro later on, and everyone else that got caught in Batiatus's trap, you see the effect that it had on him. And every single time that Batiatus would try and, I mean, it's the final line, you know, "I gave you the means to accept your fate."
I gave you the means to accept your fate.
Or he believed that's what he was doing, and all he was doing was cementing his own death at the hands of Spartacus. And I remember watching this with my dad, and then that scene with Glaber and Alithea came on, and she dropped the old, and it's the very first. He immediately pulled the phone away from his face and went, "What the fuck are we watching? I'm sorry. I'm going to get it out the way early. Viva Bianca, Alithea. I'd have killed Varro as well. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I'd have done the exact same thing. And I have no regrets." I would have been just as bad as every other Roman. I would have. I'm sorry, but we've got to get out of the way. And I really like Glaber as a villain. He's a desk pusher. I know he's technically a military general or not. And he's so desperate for power and to be seen as this like ultimate man. The fact they got Craig Parker from, obviously he's in Lord of the Rings. And I've just recently done my rewatch of those. He's so good in Lord of the Rings. He's majestic elven warrior. And in this, he's just a bitch. But he plays it so well. And there's a moment later on, very much later on in the series, when he sets up Spartacus to fight his guards. And he says something along the lines of, to Batiatus, he tries to stop it, "You open this door, now we'll walk through it together." And Spartacus still cleans house and just wipes the smugness off his face. And I thought he'd done an excellent job in this series. He's one of those, the first series of Spartacus, this is what I was saying about House of Asher in my previous reviews. The thing that House of Asher is missing is this kind of scum and villainy. And Glaber and Alithea, the moment in the final episode when Lucretia sees Crixus and she's like, "Where the fuck is Alithea?" And she's like, she's leaving. And she orders the Romans, "Seal the doors." And they're, "Excuse me, I'm the wife of the legatus. Seal the fucking doors." Viva Bianca. Okay. Yeah.
"Seal the doors. Let no one beyond them. I'm the wife of the legatus.
Seal the fucking doors."
Yes. We're all thinking the same thing. But how evil and manipulative she is, the way she sets up Segafax and obviously the magistrate's son. This series, and we are bouncing around because I just finished. I'm doing the whole series in one review, whereas Asher, the House of Asher, I did per episodes. And there are so many moments that if I was going to try and capture them all, it would be longer than the series itself, I think. But then there's this scene.
My word is kept. They're reunited.
Now, this scene, my friend's just rewatching it at the same time as me. The look that John Hannah gives as he's walking past, and then he turns to Alithia, then he turns to Lucretia, that he believes he's the good guy of this story. And I cannot talk highly enough of Batiatus and Lucretia as villains. I just can't. Me talking about it doesn't do justice to the scene itself. And we haven't even mentioned Varro. He is the heart of the first season. When you really think about it, he's the only gladiator there that chose to be there for his family to clear his debts. And he's the guy that kept Spartacus human, who kept him from going off of the deep end a lot of the time and really tried to balance him out. And that moment, I know I joke about it, Shy Courtney plays it so good. And it's a shame. He's just done a film recently where he played the killer at sea. And he was great as Boomerang, despite how the film turned out. But then he'll do a Die Hard 4 and a Terminator Genesis. And it's such a shame. But yeah, Shy Courtney should have been bigger. The payoff from Varro's death being Aurelia killing Numerius, can't speak highly enough of just the acting in this show. When she says he was mine, I goosebumps all over this entire series. I've watched this series at least once a year and it never fails to get me every single time. And the thing is with Varro's death is every single time it happens, I don't know why, but I'm hoping and praying that it doesn't happen again. It's stupid. Side note, does anyone remember the video game that Liam McIntyre, the second Spartacus, came up with, where you created your own gladiator or bought your own gladiator and then you fought them? If they died, they were permadeath. It's really good, but that needs to come back. Crixus being the antagonist for the first series is something that really plays to its strength, and how Batiatus is burning every single bridge throughout the series. All the while, all of these things are happening. Crixus, all the other gladiators believe, is the rightful champion. And in that final episode, it's him that decides. It's him that makes the final decision because everyone is waiting on him. But what I was thinking about during this watch is the way that a final entire episode plays out is all of the slaves know that there's going to be a revolt, but no one says anything because of how many bridges Batiatus has burned. And I just thought that was really interesting. Much like something I'd never thought of until rewatching it this time is that Spartacus's first moments are defiance. Being the one to stand up and shout, make his presence known, and being the first one to actually question Rome. And I really appreciate these little things that I'm an idiot. Most of you are going to catch that on the first watch. I didn't. Tell me about it in the comments. And then the moment that Crixus drops the shield and he gives it a little tap and he's like, kill them all. By the way, Agron instantly became a top favorite during this scene. This exact moment right here. And everything comes to a head in this final episode. But it doesn't wrap up every storyline. You get the full circle moment here with Spartacus and Batiatus when he repeats the lines to him.
What would you do to hold your wife again?
And again, chills every single time. I can't say after this I'm going to go out and punch an old lady, pick a stroller, fight a vegan. Listen, if I'm going to cover every single thing of this series, I would be here for hours. I would be here for days and days and days. And that's just talking about Alithia, right? We haven't even spoke about Asher's confrontation with Onomaus. And he's like, when he says, if this is my end, I want to go out like a gladiator, a parting kindness, please. And then snakes him. Asher is, I fully understand why they chose the House of Asher as the series they went with. I've said it from the beginning, it should have been Agron. But we're off that. We're completely off that. Onomaus. That dude was 50 during this series. Can we just take a second? 50. Peter Mensa was 50 during this series. It makes no sense. And the fact that Boba Fett in the next series, and then even in House of Asher, no Onomaus has been able to live up to Peter Mensa because he was that good in this role. We haven't even spoke about Barker. We haven't even spoke about Salonius. He shall join you presently. Come on. There are so many great moments in this first series. And not even talking about the costuming, the designs, the fighting, the choreography. If you were to take this series at face value, you would just, what my mum has always called it. She walked in on me watching this once and she was like, it's Roman porn. It is political intrigue. It is backstabbing. It is a Shakespearean tragedy with the levels and layers of depth that this show takes. And with social climbing, with the political warfare that they use. And it is honestly, I believe, one of the best TV series ever made. I just rewatched the series this week. I'm on the back end of a 80-hour work week. That's just my quick thoughts. We've let this run up 20 odd minutes by now. I'm going to cut it down. I absolutely love this series. Please let me know what you think down below. What did I miss? What are your favorite parts of the series? And before we do anything, please, and also make sure you like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. So until the next one, thank you guys. Take care.